Amen.
All right, I think Rekama, we can just start off, right? It's already time, and the rest can keep joining. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Tejal.
Thank you. All right. So very warm welcome to everybody. Thank you so much. And a very good afternoon to all of you. I am Tejal Shah, for those of you who don't know me. And I'm the co-founder of this course and also the coordinator of this course. So you can feel free to reach out to me for any help, any support, and I would always be glad to support you. First of all, congratulations to each one of you for joining this beautiful course on Down syndrome, which is so close to all our hearts. Really, we appreciate your enthusiasm to learn about the subject in so much of detail, and you've taken out your time on Saturday. So we really appreciate that. So before we take it further, it's a ritual which we follow, that whenever we start a new batch, and this is our 4th batch on Down syndrome. So we all would like to bow down to the Almighty and pray for his blessings throughout this journey of this wonderful course. And also we pray that, you feel totally empowered to support people with Down syndrome once you finish this course with us, and you build up a relationship with us forever. So thank you once again. Further, I just want to take you through the terms and conditions, which I'm sure most of you would have already, all of you would have read it, those of you who've already joined with us. In order to get the certificate, you need to have 80% of attendance. And also all your videos are supposed to be on for all the sessions for us to have a connect with you, and for all the experts, that is a basic requirement to connect with you and to, benefit you to the maximum. So please try to keep your videos on. And also there is an assignment, a very interesting assignment which you need to finish, which we will be giving you in the month of October. So you still have time. And also you need to do a case study on a person with Down syndrome, the details of which will also be given to you over a period of time. And when we feel that you're ready to start the case study, we will give you all the details. So that is about the course and the certificate. In case you don't want the certificate, you can always opt it out, and you can just participate throughout the course just for information. That is, you're most welcome to do that too. So yeah, that's your choice. Further now, I'm sorry, I just had people. All right, so I think that's all from my end. And now, without further ado, I would like to welcome the living goddess of the Down syndrome fraternity, who has changed thousands of lives, for the better, and continues to do so every single day, I would say. A very warm welcome to you, Dr. Rekha. She is the president of Down Syndrome Federation of India, and I hand over to her now. Thank you, Rekha Ma. Please take it forward.
Good morning to all you beautiful, young, energetic, and enthusiastic human beings. It is amazing that you're entering into the most beautiful world, a world that has captured me for 41 years and keeps me engrossed, absolutely embraced, and keeps me in today. What I am is because of the fact that we have lived a life of Down syndrome. And I just want to welcome all of you by your names. I can't see most of your faces. It'd be nice if you put on all your videos. And please put your names. I don't want Galaxy M001 because I don't know who you are. So please write your names. Hi, Vandana, Reena, Priyanka, Dr. Sunita, Bhuneshwari, Smriti, Kirtana, Pragyan, Kavya, Purva, Magiran, Vinodini, Rima, Shikha, Hema, Guha, Deepika, Sarika, Juhi, Pooja, Venkata Sudarshan, and Ramesh. Welcome to the show. It is the most beautiful time. You will spend 6 months becoming so strong and so interested in the subject. Honestly, when I first started out, and I must tell you, I am not a doctor. I am not a professional. I am just a simple mother who found my bearings because of my beautiful baby. Now, when Bubbly was born, I have to tell you that the word Down syndrome, I'm taking you back 40 years and even further. So I want you all to understand that the world we came from is not what you are in. If I had people like Tejal who would have given me a different opening in my life 40 years ago, maybe I would have been more empowered and better to deal with my child, which though I struggled, I did it in my own terms. Yes, welcome to the world of Down syndrome. It is the most beautiful world. I know you all think this is going to be difficult. This is such and the program that we have conducted is so carefully designed so that you can never find a minute that is boring. So if you have issues, please to call, look at us and say, I need help today. If you don't ask for support, you don't ask for information, you don't get it. So if we don't know what you need, but please reach out to us. So I'm going to take you through this, and I want you to understand that you can always raise your hands, ask the questions, and you can put it up on the chat box so that we are there to answer your questions, even if you want me to break what my flow is, because I am quite easy with this. I want you to understand the subject, because all of you would have heard about Down syndrome, but I really don't know whether you understand the smallest nuances, which is so important for you to understand that Down syndrome is not really difficult. People keep on telling us, oh, you have a child with Down syndrome, it must be a very difficult word. My point to all of you is, have you given birth to a child or a child with Down syndrome? So keep the child first. Forget the fact that the child has Down syndrome and work on a child. You will see a different attitude in your lives. So I want to tell you that the book also defines, look at the way they have defined it, that it's a naturally occurring chromosomal arrangement that has always been a part of the human condition, being universally present across races, genders, and socioeconomic lines. So it doesn't choose a particular race. It can happen to anywhere, anyone, all across the world. And approximately, we have found out that 800 births still happen. 1 in 800 continue to be born with Down syndrome. So if you ask me today, with all the amount of screening that is going on and the amount of tests that people do, why do we still have children with Down syndrome? So that will be for my genetic leaders to answer your questions. As for me, as long as there are children with Down syndrome, we remain alive. Yes. And people will tell you that they have disabilities. In my opinion, just look at the abilities. You will see a different person when the minute you open up your own horizons and say, yes, I can see your potential, I can see your abilities, your world changes, their world changes. Yes, it is the most common of all the types of aberrations in your world. If you look at the number of people born with Down syndrome in ratio to all the other types of disabilities, this is the easiest identifiable. You know that we can identify it in the womb itself. But of the easiest and the first thing we see when a baby is born is to look for all the things that we want to look at to find out if the baby has even a minor change in the facial features. Yes, my friends, that is the way we identify children with Down syndrome. We have pediatricians, we have doctors who help us support our cause. When my daughter was born, it was difficult because the idea of checking and finding out through these chromosomal tests were remote. So we had to depend on the pediatrician who himself was not in that particular frame of mind to understand the subject. So it took us a long time to realize we're tracing it back 40 years. Remember that 40 years ago, we did not have something called the karyotyping, which you guys have today. So this change in the chromosomal aberration, which is when you have a pattern, and you will look at the pattern, you will see that there are 23 pairs of chromosomes, and in the 21st, you will see one extra chromosome. Now, my question to every genetic counselor is, you're looking only at the 21st chromosome. So what happens to all the other chromosomes? Do they not feed the child with enough information or give them the support that is coming from the fact that we are created by two parents? So one more thing is that the diagnosis that we do will always be done at birth. But even prior to that, sometimes we know your child has got some of the features of Down syndrome. And we are helping parents even before the child is born. And many parents have opted to keep the child even after knowing that it is a child with Down syndrome. So I think that gives them a lot to say for such parents who have the capacity to deal with any child. So I also want to say that this change in the chromosomal pattern can affect the behavior, the body, and the physical development of this particular child. But that does not mean we take away the core values, which is that we are handling a child. Yes, though it is done at birth, as the normal population, there is, of course, they have tested and said that there will be slower progress, which today we find is not the truth. If we are able to set right all the other systems in place, which is the therapies that we start at birth, with the medical interventions, we are today seeing an amazing range of children, just like you would have the neurotypical child. There is a range. Every child doesn't have to be 100% perfect. They come with their own difficulties or their advantages. We look at them as children and deal with all of this. Now, I want to take you back to what happened 50 years ago when every child was actually, can you please mute yourself, ma'am, please? Excuse me, somebody is on unmute. Galaxy M01, I don't know your name. So, when we started out in 1950s, a child was born in my neighborhood. I must have hardly been a few years old, and I was told that this child had died. So I asked my mother, and I was myself a little child, so I wanted to know what happened to the child. And she said, oh, you don't need to know. So it was never discussed. It was never addressed. Nobody talked about it. So you can understand where we are coming from, where today on an open platform, we are talking about our children and we are very proud about it. But in those days, it was a hidden secret. In fact, there were so many superstitions attached to it, so many superstitions. Like every time they would say, oh, you're responsible for this, you've sinned, I'm sure that lots of people do that even now, but we are trying to take it away from the fact that it could be your karma, it could be a sin, it could be all of this. In Africa, when a child is born with a Down syndrome, do you know what the parents are told? That you have a snake in the house. So my point, ma'am, can you please mute yourself, Galaxy M? Oh, thanks. So you have to understand that from there, just imagine where we are today. Yes, this was in the 1980s, and this was what was told to me even at that time. Please take your child and put her in an institution. I mean, this is in the 1980s. So from 1950 to 1980, nothing changed. We were told constantly that your child is a waste. Take it, put it in an institution, and hope for the best. My point is that if I had done that then, we wouldn't have traveled these 40 years and learned so much. It was important that we fought the system in place. Yes. And also don't forget that those were the days when they were really, oh, you don't have to make any notes, any of you. This entire presentation comes to you as it is. So you will be presented this and it is recorded and given to you. So you can listen to me and don't have to make any notes. Now, when we were born, our children were born, we never knew that most of them, at least 50% of them, might have heart issues. So, and of course, the open heart issues were never treated because we didn't have open heart surgeries. We were actually, the cardiologists themselves were very actually untrained to be able to handle a child because the immune system was so low, they were petrified that they might lose the child. So they were considered absolutely uneducable. They were not allowed into schools. My daughter was not allowed in the school. I was told to take her and put her in the institution for special children, or for the mentally retarded, which was the word they used very commonly, or with children who had special needs, especially with the blind, because my daughter was born with multiple issues. So I fought the system and said, no, they have to be in school. They have to be educated. Now, these are the subjects that we'll bring to you by telling you how you can educate them, how you can put them in schools, how do you train them before taking them to schools. There's a lot of things that we will be taking you through in this course. And of course, a lot of people like me fought up and fought the system and said, what makes you think that just because my child looks different, it cannot be in the school? So yes, we did put them into schools. We allowed them there. And we were the first primary parents or caregivers who were able to insist that our children must be in schools. And I was one of them. So I take a lot of pride in fighting the system. And I really, really feel that with the changes because today the government or the Constitution has brought out the Right of Education Act, which you should keep in your hand when you take your children or help other people's children into school. Now, this is what I told you. It is the most common and easily identifiable. It is an abnormality that stems from having 47 chromosomes instead of the usual 46. This changes the pattern of the entire development of the child, which we will come to slowly. Now, in India, worldwide, this is the census that we have taken out, but I will stick to India because that is the primary suggestion that we have. But you must always remember that the World Health Organization has given this
Sorry
to us.
to interrupt.
1 in 1,000. Pardon?
Sorry to interrupt. Akanksha, you are continuously unmuting. I'm muting you. So please be on mute. Do you want to say something? Yeah, please be on mute. I have been mute. Akanksha, please be on mute. I have been muting you 10 times, then 10 times you're unmuting. That's why I had to interrupt. So please, thank you.
Thank you, Tejal. So when we looked at when we had the World Congress in Chennai, we looked at the number of people who are born in the world. And we came out with a figure which said that 5.4 million people globally have got persons with Down syndrome. So, and of course, there were a lot of people who passed away in between, but yes, that was the figure. Now, if I tell you that the word Down syndrome is not really a term, it is the name of Dr. John Langdon Down, who is a British doctor who described the syndrome in 1866. So can you imagine how many years we took to give the name Down syndrome? Earlier to that, they were called Mongol babies, or they were called children with, handicap, etc., or called idiots. But Mongol was the most common term they used, especially even in the 1980s. All our children were branded Mongol children. So things change. Everything has changed for the better, and we are in a better state today than we were 30, 40 years ago. Every year in India, this has never changed. This has remained static. You have 23,000 to 29,000 children born with Down syndrome every year. And this is not counting the number of children we are getting in the rural areas, in the villages. We are not able to account for that because we don't get it reported. Today, because of our widespread awareness, we're getting more information. So this name has come from Dr. John Langdon Down, the physician who described the features in 1866. The word syndrome, my friends, is a collection of signs and symptoms, which is a combination of creating a name for a particular individual or person. What causes Down syndrome? It is caused by the extra genetic material. So get that very clear. It is only a genetic aberration. It is not a disease. So if the papers report normally saying the person has Down syndrome, which is a disease, sorry, it is not a disease. Anything that is called a disease is curable. Down syndrome is not curable. It can be something that can be handled over a period of time through therapies and through interventions, but it is not a disease. Repeatedly, we do not say Down syndrome is a disease. That is a wrong term. More importantly, we also do not say Down syndrome person. It does not. Anytime you say that, your marks are cut in our particular class. Remember this, write it down very clearly. You say a person with Down syndrome. Anytime you talk, you say that girl Seema has Down syndrome. You do not say Down syndrome Seema. It does not describe the person. And from Down syndrome, we have moved on to trisomy 21, which is the chromosome that is affected or has one more instead of having the usual 2, it has 3. So tri means 3, somy means chromosome, and 21 is the chromosome on which it is sitting or which has the extra one. There is an extra genetic material. So individuals with Down syndrome will have 47 instead of the 46, which you and I apparently have. So the diagnostic test for newborns is what we call the chromosomal karyotyping. The karyotyping was started 35 to 40 years ago, but because of the, having to keep it in a particular temperature, the genetic departments found it very difficult to collect the blood and do the test immediately. Even today, when you do it, it takes at least 2 to 3 weeks to give you a report of whether you are a trisomy 21 or another type of a Down syndrome. So we will come to that. So this blood sample is absolutely crucial. So because that particular report is important for the final analysis, which is where we take up and start analyzing the child. So you have to collect those reports. If you are the caregivers, please ask for the initial report. This is very, very important because based on that will be your type of care that you are going to give the child. More importantly, look at this little baby. Does she look different? Oh my God, she came to our center and the mother was such a happy, happy soul. She knew nothing. So even if I told her chromosomes, it would mean like, what are they talking about? So sometimes you have to look at the families before you break the news and be very careful and gentle when you're breaking news. Now, this looked like to me when it came out the first time when I was talking to the genetic counselor, she showed me this pattern and to me, it looked like some small insects or amoeba floating around. I couldn't understand what was different. What are they looking at? Because we are not medical people. So I only knew, I looked at the 21st and I said, oh my God, there's something different there. So it's like, you're trying to compare the two and suddenly you find one extra one. So then I did my studies and I said, what does that mean to the human body? And yes, my friends, this can mean a lot, but that lot is what we're going to take you through the next 6 months. So these are the type of tests we have to do. These are diagnostic tests, which are absolutely crucial for you to understand where you stand with your parent and child. So next one would be, these are the alterations. I made it into 3 slides so that you will get a clearer picture of everything that I want to show you. This is a close-up of the trisomy 21. Now, there are 3 different types of Down syndrome. Get that very clear. You don't need to go into it, but you need to understand so that you will understand that some of them have some more medical complications. Some of them are easier dealt with. But in my opinion, of the 6,000 people that I have seen with Down syndrome in India, there is no difference. Whether their child is a trisomy 21, a mosaic, or a translocation. Yes, some of them will not have thyroid issues to the maximum effect that we have, that the trisomy 21s have. You might not have, things like multiple hypertonia, or you might not have heart issues, but they will also have a change in the chromosomal pattern. So this will be discussed by our genetic leaders because you need to go into it a little bit for you to understand when they show you, when they show you this particular thing or this one, what is it? Is it a trisomy 21 or is it a child with a translocation? So translocation, the only thing I want to tell you is when you see a baby with translocation, please remember that one of the parent should have been a carrier. So it's not that easy. You have to, this will be described to you because when you see that particular pattern, I had a parent who had a child with translocation and we advised her to go for genetic counseling so that she could, make sure that the next child was safe. She refused to do that. And the second child was also born with Down syndrome. So you have to be very, very clear on what advice you are giving and how you are viewing the child. So when we say mosaic, we say that the cell division is done in such a way that 50% of the cells in a person with a mosaicism is absolutely normal. So only 50% are affected and 50% will be normal. So they always used to tell us, if you are a mosaic child, then you are got less features of trisomy 21, which in my opinion has not been the true fact. So whether you like it or not, you need to get this pattern done for your own study so that you can sit down and analyze the child better or help the parent better. This will be described to you definitely in clearer detail in the first session that we are having with the genetic counselors. What are chromosomes? So when we were first told what chromosomes were, we never understood. We didn't know genes, we didn't know DNA, we didn't know alleles, we didn't know anything. It needed a lot of study because we even didn't have the medical books to give us information. So for your information, the chromosomes, which is the most important thing, they have these little lines in between. Can you see them? Can you see the lines? These lines are actually your particular, also carries your genetic, all your genetic material. The color of your hair, the color of your eyes, your behavioral pattern, your instinct, your stubbornness, all of them comes in that. So it carries all your holders of your genes. And do you know that persons with Down syndrome, in every chromosome, will be carrying something like 200 to 250 genes. Now, my point is the 21st chromosome carries so many genes. Now, to study all those genes, I had to shoot my head, but I sat and studied every little material because for me, I needed to understand what is happening inside my daughter's body for me to set right the pattern. It's not easy, but took me some time, but I definitely needed to study. So I sat with counselors all over the world, brought together all the information to study what is it that is missing link. Like we call a missing link, I needed to put this together. Now, when you have so many genes in that, it is what we call the gene expression. Now, you just need to remember this. You don't need to analyze it, but you need to understand that the holders of the chromosome are the maximum. They are the holders of your genes, those bits of DNA, okay? And in trisomy 21, the presence of this extra set of genetic material is leading to what? An overexpression of genes. So instead of having what we normally would have, it will be doubled, right? Instead of doubled, it is tripled. So there's a triplication of the 21st chromosome. The 21st chromosome may actually hold 250. Today, my friends, this is what I analyzed 10 years ago. Today, we have found that they have more than 300 different types of genes. So your genes make your enzymes and your proteins. So when you have an overloading of your genes or your genetic material, it can cause a lot of confusion in your body. And this in turn leads to what we normally talk about is the metabolic disturbances in your body. I am sure all of you would have understood that Down syndrome or trisomy 21 stems from a lot of metabolic disturbances. So we're coming to that. What is metabolism? Don't worry, each of this is going to be clearly explained to you by the endocrinologist, by the genetic counselor, by the psychotherapist. So each time it will be repeated. So stop making notes today. Please understand. Everything I'm telling you will come again and again and again. So what is your metabolism? Look at yourselves. It is determined as the sum total of every chemical reaction that goes on in your cells. So if your cells are perfect, then you have a metabolism that works perfectly. Sometimes because of stress, our metabolism goes through a change. During puberty, your metabolism goes through a change. It's the same thing with them, except that we constantly go back to trisomy 21. This is a process by which your body converts what you eat and drink into energy for your body. For all of us, this is the same method. But because we have an extra chromosome, there will be an imbalance. So all the time, remember, whatever happens in your body is being over exaggerated because of that, if you look at the medical terms. So when you look at a baby with Down syndrome, I don't think this baby looks any different. Oh my God, it's because we are told that our child has Down syndrome, we start looking. So when your child is actually born, none of us know that the child has Down syndrome. Have you ever thought that my child is different? No, none of us think of it like that. It's only because we have been told your child has this, then we start looking for it. So my point is, I'm looking at only the metabolism. When this happens, your child will have deletion of antioxidants, amino acids, digestive enzymes, and other essential nutrients. That's why we keep saying check vitamins, minerals, all the other components. Constantly, we're telling you to check only because of this, because there might be a deletion of one of the things that is adding on and making this baby's immunity better. So this is caused the metabolic imbalances. Typical features. Look at the features of all these babies. Now look at this little one. If I told you that this one, the fourth one with the red frock, is my baby. Now she never looked any different to me. When she was born, she was absolutely the apple of our eye. And then they started saying, oh, look at her nose. Look at her. She looks different. She looks like a mongoloid. I'm thinking to myself, I mean, really? Are you kidding? My daughter looks mongoloid. She doesn't look mongoloid. She looks just like one of us. And she had gray eyes. So in those days, there was this actress called Rakhi. So I'm thinking, oh, my daughter's so beautiful. She looks like the actress. And you start imagining all the beautiful things in your little brain. And then they started saying, no, she's got all these multiple issues. And all that. I said, no, my daughter looks just like a baby should look. But that was arguing against the advice of people who might have known better than. Yes, they have a rag doll look, which is, when you hold the baby up, they'll flop. So the floppiness is the first thing we look at in a little baby with trisomy 21 because of the hypotonia, which is the biggest issue for all our children. You know that our bodies are made up with only muscles. There's so much muscle everywhere. To strengthen that muscle, we have to start working at birth. So we check with the medical issues. There's also the physical features. All this is described, but all the children will not have all these features. Please remember one thing. So stop searching for these features. The single crease was not there in my daughter. She did not have, what do you call these small ears that went down. No, she was okay. To me, she looked absolutely perfect. Now, this is the way a mother will look at her child. But when you go into the medical field, these are all the parameters that they normally look at. And then they will tick off in their little book saying, yes, I think we saw this. But my friends, all the children that I've seen do not have to have all these features. They have a few, and then, yes, there is a particular mark of a person with trisomy 21. What we look at, first of all, is the fact that this child should have medical issues. So the most important thing, my friends, is that most of them will have heart defects. So when you have heart defects, we can't really work on that baby. We cannot touch the baby because we are scared, and we are, therapy can trigger off more issues. So what we do is we first take the baby and get it analyzed from the medical group, which is thyroid, heart. We have to look at the hypotonia. We have to look at the vision, the hearing, the gut, which is the gastrointestinal system. We have to look at all of this and find out rectum. There was a baby who was born, my friends, who did not go to the toilet for 6 days. They could not pass stools. Now, the doctors did not realize it, but the parents realized that the child had not passed any type of a motion for 6 days. Then they found out that there was no rectum. So you have to understand that we are working with parents and children and doctors. So sometimes if the doctor has failed on a particular thing, we have to bring it to their attention. And we found that they needed a colostomy so that we could create this particular rectum for the baby. And these are the studies that we have been through for years. Epilepsy is much less. Celiac disease, because of the Indian food and our diet, because we don't have that much gluten, we have tried to maintain a particular healthy individual right up to the end. Now, trisomy 21 has a wide variety of features. So what one child will have, the other child will not have. So please don't replicate They're saying that this child had it, your child might have it. No, this is a range. So every person comes with their own typical behavior, ability, and progress. So do not analyze and say, put them all into one basket. It is not right. And as I said, it is not a disease, nor is it contagious, which they thought my daughter had when she joined the school. They said, keep her in a different place because she's contagious. Now, people for years never realized that Down syndrome is not a disease. We had to prove it. Yes, I have also said this. Down syndrome is a person with Down syndrome or a child with Down syndrome. So we will, right through the class, we will be noting whether you have understood this. So the doctors themselves, as usual, the first person who sees your baby is a pediatrician. So when the pediatrician lifts your baby, you look at his expressions and see whether he's smiling, because you want him to be happy that your baby has got everything perfect. Now, sometimes way back when we started, the doctors were a little more harsh. So it really broke our hearts that they would say things like, oh, this baby's a waste. You really cannot do much with this baby. The baby will have no future. So there was always this whole thing of waiting for a feedback from the doctor, because the person who guides your life is a doctor. Am I right? All of you thumbs up, because that's the person who leads us on. He gives us the hope for the future. So you have to have and find right. There is no such doctor, like people used to call me up and say, is there a doctor for Down syndrome? No. The doctors are the same. There will never be a doctor separate for our children, but he should be empowered about the issues that our children might have. Now, this is something that I wrote, that our dreams and our aspirations are ours. We can change anything. Can you change your child? No. So I think we all need to understand where our doctors come from. This particular child was told that you will not survive. Take it home. Don't waste your money. And they had come all the way from Bihar. In fact, I walked back to the hospital and told the doctor the next time he said it, we would stop his practice, because either he was scared of doing the surgery or did not know how to do the surgery. So yes, my friends, we have had some really fatal issues because of the lack of information that the doctor should have and did not have. This is Kachu. He was in the center. He lost his vision because the doctors did not check frequently enough, and he had a retinal detachment, which today we are certain we're not going to let our children have. So yes, my friends, having a child is planning. So you are the next stage of where we have caregivers who are going to guide us, who are going to give us information which says, yes, I am here. Your child has potential. We will help you. But we also still need the team of medical doctors. Don't forget that. So what happened in 40 years? In 40 years, things have changed dramatically. And I am really happy with the thing and the changes that have happened. What happened was I was told to go home, leave your child in an institutional care and have other children. Now, I don't think that they understood what it meant to have a child, because if you are a mother, you will understand that it is not me, it is about my baby, and I'm not giving up my baby for the whole world. Yes, a parent, when you're dealing with them, will have that deep-rooted fear. There is so much anxiety. I don't know how many of you are parents, but you will all have gone through that, where there is, yes, Hema, I can see your hand up. How many of you are parents? All of you would have felt that little bit of a pang, a little bit of a yes, Vinodini. You would have felt that fear, which comes with, will there be anybody to support me? Will anybody let me know what's wrong with my child? I also feel very guilty that I have not been able to bring in the child that is my dream, my aspirations. But I honestly want to tell you all this, that in 41 years, what I have experienced with my daughter is pure happiness. She has led me along, and she is leading me along even now. They told me she will die within 2 days. At 41, she's an absolutely amazing woman. She leads her life, she goes on. You have to understand that all of this comes from a pain that is, it lasts for a long time. And I understand it. That is why we wanted you to have this program, so you can get empowered and understand that pain is only very temporary. The most important thing is the child. So dealing with all of the issues, one at a time, go through the issues. So you need to understand vision. Bubbly was declared completely impaired from birth. She did not have, born with cataract, went into glaucoma. Even today, they say she has no vision. But she defies it by saying, I can see everything. And she every day get up and say, Mom, you're the most beautiful woman in the world. And that's enough for me. So, yeah, I mean, apparently she can see my face and she loves me the way I am. Yes, they have a lot of respiratory issues. So you have to necessarily be in touch with a person who will be able to help you, whether it's the pediatrician or the pulmonologist, is absolutely crucial. We never had these divisions in those days. We never had what is called pulmonology. So everything was in the only with one department, which was the pediatric department. And my daughter went into coma because she was not treated for pneumonia. She got 3 bouts of pneumonia and they told me, take her home, she will die. My friends, we didn't. My daughter just would not give up. We went home, we fought the system, and today she is absolutely, her health-wise, she's breathing, she's able to understand everything around her. There's another issue called the esophagus reflux. Now, remember one thing, when the children don't swallow, you have to understand that the entire passage is very narrow. And again, it doesn't have the capacity to swallow the way we do, okay? So we have to train that. And this is what we do with an entire team of the ENT. Gastrointestinal issues. Many of our children have got issues where they have the gut is an issue. They can have gluten allergies, which today is being discovered. They have lactose intolerance. They have a lot of issues. So we have to be clear about finding out if they have GI systems. Is very important, my friends. Whether they have what is called the irritable bowel syndrome or otherwise, please check it up constantly and keep them perfect, because the gut is a very important part of the developmental pattern. If a child is not healthy, it could be that he has stomach pain, he has a bloating stomach, he has loose motions. It could be multiple issues. We need to check on that. And that is why we have a dietitian who will come and give you a complete introduction into foods which are necessary and foods which we can avoid. So dealing with all of these issues, thyroid, my friends, the Department of Endocrinology came in only in 1997. My daughter was already 17 years old. It did affect her height. It did affect the capacity to learn, because you know that the thyroid borders over here, which is controlling the brain and the development of the body. Hypotonia, I never understood this. I just thought she was one of those bubbly little things that was rolling around like a little rag doll. But we understood later on that if we do not rectify the thyroid levels, or the fact that the hypotonia and the muscles have to be rectified with an intense therapy. We didn't have therapists, by the way, in those days. Some of the children are born with severe constipation. So every day Bubbly received enema for actually till she was grown up. Now, all of this could have been avoided with a proper diet, a proper food management, with abdominal exercises. So we were in a days when there was no direction, okay? So there were no books, my friends. There was no one to talk to. Every house I went into, the door would be shut. They would say, do not come in and talk about my child, because we don't want anybody to know that our child has Down syndrome. Do you know why? Because then the other sibling would be affected. I mean, this really shocked me, that they would never bring their children out. They would never show them to the neighbors. They didn't want me. And that was a shocker. So yes, I did start writing a lot of books. This is my book, which I wrote for the government of India, which has been published. And this book is on my website. You can download it. It's like a hand booklet, which is like a guidelines for everything that you need about Down syndrome. We will give you all the information. Don't worry, stop looking down, look directly into the screen. It's important that you concentrate. Now, I want you to, now that I stop here, I want to know if you have any questions, Tejal, before Tejal leaves, because Tejal has to go for the next course at 3:30. So before that, anything that you want, then I will talk to you a little more about the Trisomy 21. Anyone, any questions? Yeah, Hema.
Ma'am, this endocrinology is for it gives complete picture of all, in addition to thyroid, many things they'll be looking into it, right?
Everything about the metabolism, okay? Your metabolism stems from your thyroid, okay? And this is very, very crucial. So the endocrinologist looks at the pituitary, the pancreas, the liver, the thyroid, all the organs that contribute to the development of the child. The only area we go to a gastroenterologist is for the gut. But
Okay.
the endocrinologist is the person who determines whether your child is getting slower, whether your child needs a pump up, or whether the TSH levels, because you know it's T3, T4, and TSH. But we normally look at the stimulating hormones, which is the TSH. So we need to know whether this gland is working properly. It is the most important gland in a person with trisomy 21. Answered your question?
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. Shika? Unmute, Shika.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Vivan is 11 months old. In April, we did his thyroid testing. It was in a range of 5.6 something. Now today we got again we did yesterday his thyroid testing. It's now 9.6. And from April to this time today till today, I was continuously giving him a tablet. Still his thyroid TSH level T3, T4 free. They both are within the range, but his TSH is still a level high. It is now 9.93. So I'm not getting, even giving him a thyroid tablet, still her thyroid level is not in a control. I will
Okay.
discuss with doctor.
What did the doctor say?
The appointment. No, I took the appointment. Today I take the appointment. I will go in evening.
Okay. Let me explain it to you in a very general way, that the TSH or the thyroid levels can fluctuate all the time. Okay. So it is not going to remain static. Even if you give the tablet, it all depends on the dosage. Please understand, Shikha, that the dosage is not enough to help him. So either they have to increase, reduce. Constantly we are battling with the thyroid levels. That is why we keep saying every 6 months till the child is 10, you might have to do it, depending on, also notice whether he is getting tired, whether he is cranky, is he sleeping well, how is his muscle control. All of this is very, very, very important. So you have to look, as a mother, you first have to identify all these also. So when you go to the endocrinologist, please tell them that you have seen your son not sleeping well, not eating well, not cooperating, not concentrating. And is he smiling? Is he cranky all the time? So all these are issues that can lead to the TSH level being high or low. So giving the medicine is one thing. Is the medicine taking effect is very important, especially when it comes to thyroid. So we start with a small minimal amount, and don't worry. It is something that we give as a support system. So it is absolutely crucial that the thyroid level is maintained. Don't worry, it's going higher. Don't worry. You relax first. Because sometimes the mother's stress also gets to the child, you know. So please, aram se baith ke socho, what am I doing to my baby? Is he getting more stressed because of me? Wo rota hai, to mere ko dekh ke he might be looking at you and saying, Mama is very stressed. And even a one-day baby will understand that. So you relax, and this can be definitely controlled. If you have issues with your endocrinologist, send it to us. We will have a second, a person who will again give you a second opinion. Okay? Don't worry.
Ma'am, I agree to you, ma'am. I have seen my son, right, getting impacted by my emotions. If you feel confident, they feel confident. I've experienced it many times.
Thanks, Hema. That was a good one coming from a beautiful student. I mean, it's important to be rubbing off on each other, because all of you have to empower the other person to understand, talk to each other. Because sometimes we are all bottled up. And if you don't talk, you're not opening up. open up and say, this disturbs me, then they will tell you this happened to my child. So let's share notes. So always have a confidant, a friend who you can talk to. Okay. And don't worry, thyroid can be easily set right. Yes, Manisha.
Hi, Rekhama. Actually, when I got to know about my son that he's a Down syndrome baby, he was of 2 months at that
It's a
time.
baby with Down
And,
syndrome. Hello. I've been talking only
yes.
about this. Baby
Yeah.
with Down syndrome.
With
Down syndrome baby
okay.
क्या मतलब क्या होता है यार?
ऐसा सब लोग बोलते हैं और मुझे ये सुन के
नहीं,
बहुत
ऐसे बोलते हैं तो इसीलिए तो हम क्लास ले रहे हैं ना. इंटरनेशनल प्लेटफॉर्म में ना, जब हम बात करते हैं इंटरनेशनल प्लेटफॉर्म में, आपको उठा के बाहर भेज देते हैं. बिकॉज इट इज लाइक सेइंग चिकन बॉक्स का बच्चा. समझ गए?
समझ गई.
स्टबर्न चाइल्ड, बच्चा स्टबर्न होता है यार. इसमें आप उसको आइडेंटिफाई करने में ना, डू नॉट पुट द लेबल. जब हम ही लेबल डाल देते हैं तो क्या होता है? बोलो. He has got Down syndrome, so but that doesn't mean that he is Down syndrome बच्चा. There's a difference. Okay, get that into your heads.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I understood. तो जब उसको उन्होंने कहा था डॉक्टर्स ने कि उनके थायराइड लेवल्स को आपको रेगुलरली मॉनिटर करना पड़ेगा, तो वो थोड़ा फ्लफी था, उसका वेन्स नहीं मिलता था, तो हमें हमको उसको आईसीयू में डॉक्टर्स लेके जाते थे उसका ब्लड टेस्ट करने के लिए, क्योंकि वो सफिशिएंट क्वांटिटी में नहीं आता था ब्लड उसका. तो फर्स्ट टाइम जब उसका ब्लड लिया और टेस्ट किया, तो वो टाइम लेवल्स थोड़े अबनॉर्मल थे. तो उन्होंने कहा कि 2-3 मंथ्स रुकते हैं, उसके बाद में एक बार और टेस्ट करेंगे, अगर फिर भी सेम रिपोर्ट आई तो फिर हम लोग इसका मेडिकेशन स्टार्ट करेंगे. तो जब 3 मंथ्स बाद में जब दोबारा किया टेस्ट, तो फिर से अबनॉर्मल आया था. Within that period I studied lot about कि ऐसा क्या चीज है, न्यूट्रिएंट्स या सब चीज से जिससे ये सारी चीजें जो है वो हेल्प होगा इसको नॉर्मलाइज करने के लिए. और मैंने उसी तरह के डाइट्स पर फोकस किया बच्चे का. जब उसका फीड के बाद में 6 मंथ्स में हमने जब खाना पीना उसका शुरू किया, बाहर का खाना देना, और उसके बाद उसका लेवल नॉर्मल आया. फिर भी 1 साल 1.5 साल का होने तक हमने रेगुलर चेक किया. अभी नेक्स्ट मंथ इस महीने वो 3 इयर्स का हो जाएगा. तो क्या उस जरूरी है, क्योंकि उसका
क्या क्वेश्चन क्या था?
उसका जो लास्ट जब मैंने उसका जो थायराइड लेवल्स थे ना, मैंने कोशिश किया कि वो फूड से नॉर्मलाइज हो जाए, बजाय इसके कि दवाइयां इस्तेमाल करी जाए. मैं थोड़ा सा मेडिकेशन के अगेंस्ट रहती हूँ, स्पेशली एलोपैथी के. तो मैंने फूड, न्यूट्रिशन, ये सब चीजें बहुत ज्यादा स्टडी की हुई है, तो उसी को उसके लिए मैंने ध्यान दिया, और उसी से जो भी है ईश्वर की कृपा है, जो सब उसका सही हुआ.
क्वेश्चन आंसर करते हैं मनीषा. I'll only answer one word. If the mother is happy, I have no problem.
मैं खुश हूँ उससे. अभी अच्छा कुछ वर्ड्स बोल लेता है, अच्छे से खेलता है. स्कूल उसको मैंने अभी एडमिट किया है.
How old is
He's
he?
3 now. He's 3
1
now.
minute. So you have not tested his thyroid from when?
1.5 years.
You don't want to test it? छोड़ दो.
हाँ.
But my point is, अगर आपको लगेगा कि there is a routine test, because आप कहीं पर भी जाएंगे, they will first ask you for the thyroid report.
हाँ.
तो thyroid report लेके आप रख लो, दवाई मत दो. If you feel like that. But my point is that some things have to be done, because you're playing with a life. एक life है. Okay? So if we are, like I'm telling you what happened to my daughter. जब उसका सारे systems develop नहीं हुए जैसे होना था, I understood कि thyroid से इतना उसका effect हो गया था. So if I had given the thyroid level earlier, because as they grow older, don't forget that the metabolism and your entire system depends on that. अब तो छोटा बच्चा है. When he becomes older, and puberty is a very difficult stage. So there will be more changes, and there will be a necessity to go back to the endocrinologist. You can continue to do what you're doing. You can even give homeopathy. But my point is, if you are against allopathy for everything, नहीं होता है. You have to be a little more, open in your ideas. Okay? कर लो,
नहीं
you do
हर
as you're
चीज
doing.
के लिए
Because
नहीं मैं
my point is, if a mother is happy, मेरे को कुछ problem ही नहीं है यार. I never ask you whether the child is developing. I ask you the mother is happy. हंसते हुए मदर के पास तो हम झगड़ा ही नहीं करते हैं यार. आपको जितना स्ट्रेस कम है उतना बच्चा बढ़ेगा. So you take it and you handle it your way. But today we do, every year we insist on all the parameters, vision, hearing, thyroid, stomach, सारी details हम लेते हैं. क्यों लेते हैं? Because if the parent says ये school में बैठ के ये he is not gaining information or he is not able to cope up with the system, कुछ तो होगा ना. See, when you see a child who is not able to sit in the classroom, who is not able to concentrate, जिसका फोकस ही नहीं है, तो कुछ तो गलत होगा ना. या वो नहीं सो रहा है, या उसका डाइट ठीक नहीं है, या his thyroid is bothering him, or he can't see the board, or he can't see anything, or he can't hear properly. तो ये चीजें हम we normally always get it analyzed in the beginning. Okay? And every year you have to do this, whether the child is 1 year or 30 years, we insist on this. Because बच्चे का mood, even a child's mood depends on the thyroid level. So that is one. Yes, yes, Vandana.
गुड आफ्टरनून माँ. मुझे एक चीज कंफर्म करनी थी कि जैसे ये टीन एज में वो जा रही है, 15 है ना, तो बिहेवियरल चेंजेस नेचुरल है कि कुछ उसके लिए वो है, जैसे वो पोजेसिव है अपनी चीजों के लिए, यादा कि मेरे कमरे में कोई ना आए, मुझे छुए ना कोई, और अगर उस टाइम मान जाती है तो थोड़ी देर बाद फिर वही अपनी चीज को वहां से उठा के लाएगी, किसी वो बंद कर लेगी. तो ये नेचुरल है कि थोड़ा वो ध्यान रखने की चीज है?
Absolutely normal.
ओके, थैंक यू माँ.
अजय, आप मेरे ग्रैंड चिल्ड्रन है, अपने सामान थोड़ी ना देते हैं, सारे ले जा. ये माइन आजकल तो सभी माइन हो गया ना, तो बच्चे को भी मालूम पड़ गया. सुने, सी मेनी ऑफ आवर चिल्ड्रन इमिटेट बिहेवियर. ये नहीं है कि वो ये पोसेसिव है, इमिटेट करते हैं.
टिल 7th वो नॉर्मल स्कूल में गई है, तो वो बच्चे अपनी चीज छूने नहीं देते थे उसको.
Absolutely.
वही
This is
हैबिट.
what I'm saying. It is called imitative behavior. ये कॉपी बहुत करते हैं. इसीलिए हमको सोच के we have to be very careful with what words we use, with how we handle ourselves. अगर हम स्ट्रेस लेते हैं, वो भी स्ट्रेस लेते हैं. अगर हम आराम से बात करेंगे, or you teach them, absolutely patiently, you will have 100% results.
फिर कभी गुस्सा खाओ ना तो कहेगी अब आप मुझसे प्यार नहीं करते.
हाँ, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. It's so true. Because हम गुस्से में भी प्यार दिखाते हैं, but उनको नहीं मालूम है, गुस्सा ही देख रहे हैं ना. So we have to be very patient with them. Okay? Yes, Priyanka.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hi, Rekha ma'am. My
Hi.
daughter is just 3 months old. Now from last 10 days, she started taking out her tongue like every minute. For completely, she's taking out her tongue. So by any way, like because she's very young, she's just 3 months old. So how we can teach her like to keep her tongue inside, or
So we will complete this entire pattern, but you can contact me privately because this is something that I can handle. But normally our speech therapists and orofacial muscles are weaker. So just imagine this whole area is very weak. So when I say hypotonia, it is not only in certain areas. Your face has got the maximum number of muscles. So ye muscles develop nahi hote hain, and what happens? They're not able to control those muscles. So putting out the tongue like a little, like it keeps coming out, is very normal because one, I don't know how you're feeding. Are you feeding or is it a bottle feed? So I need to go through all of this. So if you call me privately, because this is a big subject that we will be studying in our session for, that is why we're telling the parents to enroll. We keep telling the parents that you learn so much from this particular program, which is beneficial to you, and you can pass the information to 10 other parents. So yes, this tongue protrusion is very normal. It's very normal. See, the mouth itself cannot control the tongue. So we are trying to, analyze why it happens. And I will talk to you privately about it, on how to hold the baby when you're feeding, how, the tongue thrust happens, because there are some myths about our children. They keep on saying, oh, the tongue is very long. It's not true. It's because the oral facial capacity, that's the mouth inside, cannot keep the tongue inside. तो वो बाहर आ जाता है. I'll talk to you about it. Okay? Because I need to see your feeding pattern. All right?
Okay,
Yes.
sure. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Venkata Sudarshan.
Hi, madam. Thanks for organizing this. I had a doubt with my son's reports. It shows he is having the trisomy chromosome 21 translocation type, but he's having 3 years 9 months now. So with the doctor advice, we did for the parental karyotype testing, and the report came it's normal. Even we showed it to the genetic doctor. Parental reports are normal. So I just want to know more about it. Like
You're worried about your next child.
yes,
I know that. So stop worrying first. Your face is only worry. What do I call you, Venkata Sudarshan or do I call
Venkat.
Sudarshan?
You can call me Venkat.
Okay, Venkat, stop worrying. How old are you, Venkat?
I'm 31 now.
Okay, at 31, you should not be worrying at all. Okay. More important, you need to get a proper counseling done. It's not always to do with your genetic pattern or your wife's genetic pattern. All of us are absolutely normal. But the point is that somewhere along the line, this division happens. So it is a question of the cell division, which happens during our time of conception. It did not happen later or earlier. It happens at the time of conception. Now, we have to explain to you clearly, and I think you need the genetic counselors you are from Hyderabad?
Bangalore, correct. I'm from Bangalore.
Bangalore. You have the leading genetic counselors. I will give you the name. Please meet them, go with your wife, sit down and do a complete counseling because you need to go through the parameters of the earlier report of your child also. Okay?
Yeah.
So unless we see that report very clearly, we need to actually identify and give you a clearer picture before you plan your next child. And one more thing, please relax.
Yeah. Yeah. And one more thing, my concern is now when my son, the previously what they asked, like he will keep his tongue outside more, but when we started giving the speech therapy, it reduced now. But when he is playing, so that time he will do that more, and he will tired more because of that. And so I just want to know few guidelines on that. Yeah.
No, I cannot give you guidelines at this time because this is an introduction. So by the time you finish the 6 months course, you will be a guru. But you have to understand that we have to get you into this. There are so many ways. I need to look at the child. I need to know, because sometimes when we concentrate, you and I also have certain amount of behavioral issues. So we will be either, moving our hands like this. It could be that your tongue is coming out. It could be anything, but I need to know how much exercise has been done on the jawline and on the orofacial muscles. So we will come to it and we will do that. Okay.
Thank you.
So unless I see the baby, I need to see the little boy in action, and then I will give you the advice.
Sure. And the last one, I want to know more about the medical insurance wise. Like I saw a video of yours in the YouTube like few days before about a parent who introduced a special program insurance in India. I heard. So I want to know more about it.
We will have one full session on insurance, boss. Don't worry.
Thank you.
There is nothing we leave, without giving you information. I will also, if you can, I will send you the information from my secretary. You can get the information about the person who's dealing with the insurance, because for everything we have a different department. Okay.
Thank you.
I will definitely get that insurance details given to you. Okay. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Yes, I don't know your name. There's only a phone number here.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Nandini.
Nandini, can you put your name there, Nandini? Or are you sharing somebody else's computer?
Yeah, I'm sharing. I don't know. I don't know how to put my name here. I asked Tejal.
Will I do it for you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, now you continue with what you have to tell us now.
So ma'am, for my daughter's 2 years old, we
Yeah.
had done a karyotype test for her.
Okay.
So the genetics doctor that we had consulted earlier, she's retired now, Dr. Sridevi Egre in Bangalore.
Mhm.
So she had suggested that if we, I mean, I wanted to get the Mosaic test done for her because she said, according to her, she said, my daughter looks more like mosaicism. Her features are not that obvious. And so I didn't get that test done yet. So should I get the Mosaic test done? I mean, how is
I
it
don't-
going to help?
No, I listen. What, there is no separate test for mosaicism. The same karyotyping will bring out the 3 different types. Unless we read the pattern of your chromosomes, we will not know what type of Down syndrome. See, now look at this. If I show you this type of a Down syndrome pattern, I know it's trisomy 21.
Yeah.
In mosaicism, it will be totally different. But you need to have they done a karyotyping?
I had done the karyotyping, but they said there's something called the fish test to for mosaicism, they'll do the fish test is what they had said.
Okay, you can get that done, but I want to see, have you got the karyotyping report?
Yes, I have the karyotyping report.
Will you please send it to me on a personal DM me on my phone number so that I can definitely have it analyzed and tell you exactly whether you need to do more tests, because sometimes this can become very tricky. They'll keep on asking you to do more and more tests. Don't do it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Send us the report. We will give you a clear picture. Okay.
Okay. And ma'am, one more question. My daughter's thyroids have been normal. We have been checking it regularly. Her thyroids are normal. And I don't see any particular metabolism issues right as of now with her. She's 2 years old. So should I still consult an endocrinologist?
When did you do the last test?
Just in April. Yeah, like 4 months back.
And you didn't show it to the endocrinologist?
No, I showed it to her pediatrician.
And she said it's okay?
Yeah, the pediatrician said it's normal.
Okay, fantastic.
He didn't suggest to see endocrinologist. He didn't suggest.
So one thing, Nandini, one thing. No 2 doctors will tell you to go to somebody else. Okay? It is in our interest as an educated person. That is why we are doing this. Because if the pediatrician can do all of this, then there's no need for the departments, no?
Yeah.
Then I don't need a cardiologist. I don't need the endocrinologist. I don't need a ENT specialist, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes be smarter than the doctors. Show it to, where are you from?
Bangalore.
All of you have the best endocrinologists.
Yeah.
Please show it once just to be online.
Okay.
And the parameters might be perfect. The growth, the development might be perfect. But why don't we get smarter than them? If you are an intelligent person, you will go and register yourself with the endocrinologist and say, I'll come back next month again. I mean, after 6 months, do another test. Sometimes the variations might suddenly happen and we won't know. Correct?
Okay. Okay.
Right? So be smarter. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, who is this now? Pragyan.
Yeah, hello Rekha, very good afternoon. Actually, my daughter, she is 4 years old now. So she had actually 2 PDAs, of which one is closed, but still there is a 2 PDA, like it hasn't closed yet. So the cardiologist who did the scanning, the echo, he said the surgery is not required. But then I showed for a second opinion to a normal pediatrician. So he said that it would be better if you can do the surgery. So now I'm a bit confused, like whether I should go for the surgery or not.
The first cardiologist said that there was no need.
Yeah, he said it's not required as of now. We shall wait for a year or 2, he said, but immediately it's not required.
So can you send me the report?
Sure, ma'am, I can.
We need to study these things very carefully because 2 cardiologists, the person who you were going to first, where are you from?
I actually am from Hyderabad. Like I'm basically from Odisha, but I stay in Hyderabad.
Okay, so we can give you the name of an excellent cardiologist in Hyderabad. Are you on the Nai Disha team?
Yes.
You are on the Nai Disha team. So we will get you the name of a cardiologist. Just take an opinion outside all of this. And send me also to send me the report, okay?
Sure, ma'am. I'll send you all the reports. Okay.
Okay, stop worrying here. Everything will be okay.
Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you, ma'am.
Thank you, sweetheart. Yes, there are two names here, Ramesh and Sweetie, but I can't see your faces. Sweetie, can I, yeah, I need to see a face. Such pretty girls. Oh my God. Yeah, Sweetie, tell me.
Yes, ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Ma'am, the problem is my daughter now she's 8 years, and problem is
Okay.
last 15 days she's starting to chatting with herself. At
Okay.
the time of sleeping, at the time of reading, at the time of anything she is doing, start to talking herself. I'm not
Fantastic.
understanding.
She likes her own company. Now don't make that into an issue. I'll tell you why. Unless it is like talking without relevance. Now you don't interfere with it, but can you record it?
Okay, ma'am.
If you can record it, you will understand what she is trying to say. See, sometimes we leave a little instrument or a phone or a recorder next to them so that we understand what are they trying to talk, because they are trying to, play games with themselves, like they are playing two roles. One could be that she's a teacher, one could be that she's the mother, she could be playing roles. So they try to do it with themselves. So don't worry about it, okay? First, stop worrying,
Okay, ma'am.
record it, because 8 years, fantastic to be playing games by yourself, because they'll say that, like you look at an ordinary neurotypical child, he'll be saying, oh, the train is coming from here and this one is coming, and they'll play the games. So they're actually, becoming a character in their own lives. So I don't think you should take that seriously, but understand that that she is bored or she needs company. Okay?
Okay, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
But don't go and try to break that thing of hers by saying, oh, let's stop. Don't do that, okay? It's very healthy to be playing games like that. Yes, Mr. Ramesh. Unmute yourself, please. Yeah. Good afternoon.
हाँ नमस्कार मैडम।
नमस्कार।
हाँ मैं ग्वालियर से बोल रहा हूँ। मेरा एक ग्रैंडसन है।
ओके।
डाउन सिंड्रोम से है और उसकी एज जो है 3.5 ईयर है।
ओके।
उसको अभी एक तो थायराइड की प्रॉब्लम थी तो वो चल ही रहा है उसको, मतलब मार्जिनल रहती है, मतलब एकदम ज्यादा तो नहीं है लेकिन मार्जिनल रहता है उसका रिपोर्ट। हेलो,
हाँ सुन रहे हैं आप, बोलिए।
अभी जो पीडीए था, पीडीए क्लोज करा दिया है उसका।
ओके।
अभी क्या है, उसको एक तो एलोपेशिया हो गया, उसके बाल निकल गए हैं, एक तो प्रॉब्लम ये है, दूसरा स्क्विंट का थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम है उसको, और स्पीच थोड़ा बोल नहीं पाता। ये 3 अभी प्रॉब्लम है। बाद बाकी उसका आईक्यू लेवल तो मतलब नॉर्मल है, सब चीज समझता है, करता है और एक्टिव रहता है, मतलब हाइपर एक्टिव ही है।
तो जब वो उसको बोलने के लिए आप कहते हैं तो वो आपको एक्शंस में दिखाता है क्या?
हाँ, एक्शन
दिखाता है ना, तो वो वही हमारे लिए बहुत ज्यादा है। बिकॉज आप उसके लिए जब वो बात करते हैं तो वेट कीजिए। जब आप क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं ना, ये ऐसा हो जाता है कि हम क्वेश्चन भी पूछते हैं और आंसर भी हम ही दे देते हैं, तो हम वेट नहीं करते। ये वेटिंग गेम जो है ना, वो जरा सा होना चाहिए। अगर आपने उससे पूछा कि आज आपको क्या खाना है, तो आप वेट कीजिए। बिकॉज बहुत से पेरेंट्स ऐसे होते हैं, तो वो पूछते हैं आपको क्या खाना है, तेरे को पोहा खाना है कि ये डोसा खाना है, तो वो बोल देंगे कि हमने पोहा बना दे तो तू पोहा खाए। सो माय पॉइंट इज आपको वेट करना पड़ेगा। एंड कंग्रेचुलेशंस, आई एम सो प्राउड टू सी अ ग्रैंडफादर ऑन दिस प्रोग्राम। आपको तो हम सलाम करते हैं।
नहीं, एक्चुअली मैडम एक तो स्क्विंट की भी प्रॉब्लम हो रही है उसको।
क्या प्रॉब्लम हो रही है?
स्क्विंट, वो आई का मूवमेंट, वो अलाइनमेंट प्रॉपर नहीं होता ना मैडम। स्क्विंट,
आंखों का प्रॉब्लम है क्या?
हाँ, स्क्विंट है, मतलब अलाइनमेंट प्रॉपर नहीं है।
नहीं, स्क्विंट तो आपको दिखाना पड़ेगा। अगर वो कॉस्मेटिक सर्जरी है तो हम करते नहीं है। अगर उसका विजन इफेक्टेड है तो दूसरी बात है। अगर ये देखने में ठीक है, सब कुछ दिखता है, तो आप अभी के लिए छोड़ दीजिए। 3 साल में हम छूते नहीं है।
अच्छा, दूसरा एलोपेशिया, उसके बाल निकल गए।
अलोपेशिया के बारे में हम आपको स्किन स्पेशलिस्ट के नंबर देंगे, आप उनसे डायरेक्ट कांटेक्ट कीजिए। ग्वालियर में कोई नहीं है, आपको हम चेन्नई के डॉक्टर के नंबर दे देंगे, आप बात कर लीजिए। वो आपको बिकॉज उसका स्किन देखना पड़ेगा हमको, ठीक है? हम हेल्प करेंगे आपको, डोंट वरी।
से सब बता दे।
Yeah, you just send me the details and we will help you, okay? Thank you. Sweetie, can I see you? Did we finish with Sweetie? Okay. Anybody else? Yeah, Sweetie, we did with you. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody having any questions? Okay. So now I'm going on to my subjects. You can all raise your, lower your hands, please. So Bubbly was born also, let me tell you, much later in life, around the age of 18. That's why we keep saying, please check the thyroid levels, because, you know, anything can happen. The mood can go. She went into depression. Okay. And no doctor would identify it. They would say, no, she doesn't have depression. She cannot have depression. And it was a very, very difficult thing, because till then, Bubbly was a fighter. She was a gold medalist in swimming, in athletics. She was finished her Arangetram. She's a dancer. She's a yoga teacher. All that is okay. But when I came to the major issue, they couldn't help me. So to be able to, do that, you have to be on top of the situation. I went back to the university and studied depression. I did my paper, and that is why I'm a doctor, because I did my PhD on depression, because no doctor was ready to help me. And today the doctors read my book, and that is how they are able to, get the thing. But all these babies, that this baby has been adopted. I think all of you must know that a lot of our babies are adopted and they are doing so well. Please remember that every child who is diagnosed with Down syndrome will be different. Work very closely with the parents, talk to the parents, reach out to the therapist. All of this is very important. Also, please remember age appropriate behavior. Ye nahi hai ke 2 years bachcha will behave like a 20-year-old, or a 20-year should behave like a 2-year-old. So age appropriate behavior expectations are very important. Please don't expect your 2-year-old to behave like a 10-year-old, or your 10-year-old should not be made into a little baby. And all of this is very important. Continuously talk to your therapist. Do you have good therapist? Do you have a good doctor? Very, very important. Now, I have got the right to education, which I want all of you to use. All of this will be sent to you. And in schools now, we have what we call shadow teachers, sometimes not necessary. Sometimes they insist on a shadow teacher. We need to do all that. More importantly, your child will have to, and you have to be as a caregiver, please importantly tell every parent to make them completely independent. They should not be dependent on anybody for any of their, self-help skills. Every day it is important, like toilet training, putting on their clothes, grooming, eating, all of these are important issues. And all this counts when you are grown up. So don't ask us, can they live by themselves? If it is not taught, these are important. Yeah, what we want from you guys, very important. We want you to be patient. One, I've been saying that. Be understanding. Listen to the carers. When you're talking to the primary carer, which is the other parent, listen to them. Do not make your rules always, okay? Please don't say, you have to do this, you have to do this. That's why I always say a happy parent makes a happy family. So if you are a happy person, I have no issues. Also talk to your parents. They also need somebody to talk to. In this group also, create your own groups. Create a small group where you have the same age groups or little older, learn from the older parents. This is how I did, okay? I formed a group of 6 parents. Today we are 6,000. We created Humsafar. It wasn't easy. I was first in Tamil Nadu. I had created the Down syndrome Tamil Nadu. Then I went to Kerala. I had a language problem. So I created the Down syndrome Kerala Association with the local groups. Today we have groups across India. In every state, we have a group. Gwalior also, we have a lovely Madhya Pradesh ka group. आप उनसे बात करते हैं मध्य प्रदेश के ग्रुप से?
नहीं, मुझे जानकारी भी नहीं है मैडम.
ओके, हम आपको कॉन्टैक्ट नंबर्स भेज देते हैं, तो प्लीज उनसे बात कीजिए, बहुत से पेरेंट्स हैं ग्वालियर में. ओके,
Thank you.
we'll send you all the information. We have been doing awareness camps, health camps, therapeutic camps all over India, and we have got the biggest Humsafar group, which is in every state. We have a support group. It's called the parent support group. So please join a support group. It makes all the difference because your languages are the same, your food habits are the same, your cultural outcome is the same. So please join them. It's very important for you to understand that every 2 years we have a large all India conference. So now this year we are having the conference in Raipur, and I hope many of you are going to be there. So we want to change the attitude of the public. Now I'm sure the next question that will come is, is society humko accept karega ke nahi karega? So my question to you is, who is society? This is the society. You are the society. I want you to understand you can reshape those things by creating a very, very active, independent, healthy child who is going to make the world sit up. We all, and they all love friends. They love people. They love to go out. So your job is to change all of that. Important, take your child out everywhere. Don't keep them in the house. Don't lock them up. We have a large family, and I would like you all to be there with us. Join us. We want an inclusive society as much as you do. Any more questions? And this is recorded, so this will reach you anytime you want. It will be up on your thing, okay? So you can get this information. Yes. Thank God I got off that screen. All of you can now ask me whatever you want to, and I am ready for all the questions. Why are you sitting and looking like that? Nobody's asking any questions. Yeah, Rima. Hi, Rima. Mute pe ho, unmute karo.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
I am from Udupi.
Right, lovely place, huh? Land of Krishna.
Yes, yes. Ma'am, I
Yes.
want to ask you, since you mentioned that you have support groups all over India, do you have any support groups in Udupi?
You start it. We have it in Mysore, we have it in Bangalore, we have it in Bangalore. But Udupi abhi ke liye, we are, you're the first person from Udupi. I'm so proud of you. So please, if you meet other parents, join them, but you can join the larger group, which will be, Karnataka. We have a lot of groups in Karnataka. Okay, Tejal is in Karnataka. So yes. Yeah. How old is your child?
My son, I have a son, 24 years. He has autism with global developmental delay.
Okay.
But I have started a small occasional center, and I have Srinita there, and she's a parent of a child.
You know something, Rima, all of us come from the same background where we are all tackling our issues, but everybody's issues are different.
Right.
So we will also come to a point where we'll be discussing dual diagnosis, where we have persons with Down syndrome who can also be autistic. My daughter has dual diagnosis. So, when you handle all these type of people, you are able to handle autism or, Down syndrome, because the spectrum itself is very, very, strange. And that you can see a person with Down syndrome who might be on the spectrum. So yes, we have worked very hard with children with autism too. But we don't like to combine the two because, we find children with Down syndrome very, very imitative. They can imitate behavior. So we like to keep them, away from children with autism because there are certain behavioral characteristics that they can pick up as long as we find them, because children with autism can reach the top very easily if they are handled, how well they do nowadays with children with autism. And so too with the children with Down syndrome. But over a period of time, we found that it's better to keep them on different levels so that, there's no confusion, but the study will be the same.
Right, ma'am. I have five students with me right now.
Excellent.
And my first student was Srinita. She is a girl with Down syndrome. Is this
Excellent.
correct? What I said is correct. I just wanted to ask you that.
No, we don't normally combine. We don't combine because the issues are so different. It's like saying that the cardiologist is doing an ENT operation.
No.
So I'm 100% certain that when I deal with an issue, I need to know everything about that issue.
Right.
I would not like to combine two issues, and if you put the two together, there is a confusion because persons with Down syndrome have multiple medical issues.
Right.
And we are trying to tackle all the medical issues before we come to the actual learning process.
Right, ma'am. I want to ask you, when I introduced Srinita, she was my first student who came to my center. And it was like love at first sight for me.
You can be rest assured that that any person with Down syndrome will make you spin around.
Right.
You are not the love at first sight. Your love at first sight is that child will make you spin.
Right.
They are so amazing. Yeah.
Very amazing. So I want to ask you, whenever I introduce Srinita to other general public, can I say what I mean to say is, can I say Srinita is a child with Down syndrome? Can I address like that?
No. How old is she? How old is she?
She is a 20-year-old.
How can she be a child?
Or what do I say?
So one, just to generalize, we say either we say person with Down syndrome.
Right.
Or we say an adult with Down syndrome. We don't want to use the word child because it really, makes them feel, why are they saying child? I'm a grown-up woman.
Right.
So one thing, remember, nobody likes to be like, even our doctors sometimes they'll turn around and say, oh, that child. And I'm thinking to myself, that's a 30-year-old person sitting in front of you.
Right,
so,
right.
We have to change those concepts. That's what we're trying to do. Change the concepts, the thinking of the world, that you address the person directly. And actually, when we take our people with Down syndrome to doctors, the doctors never address the person directly. They address us.
Right.
So, which is wrong.
Right.
So I make my the psychiatrist talk to Bubbly directly because she has so many things she wants to say.
True.
And the first thing that an adult will like to talk about is the parent. So if you're not going to give me that opening and I'm not allowed to talk what I want to, then you're treating me like a 2-year-old.
Right, ma'am. Right.
Okay, so please introduce her as a person with Down syndrome and a person and an adult.
Right.
Okay? A woman
Okay.
with Down syndrome.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
She'll be very happy. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks, Rima. Yes, Smriti. I can't hear you. The problem is we have muted you so much, you don't know when to come unmute also.
Right. I was lost in the conversation. I'm so sorry. Okay. So I'm a mother to 3 months old baby boy, and he was diagnosed with a Down syndrome in 2nd month. In 1st month, I was not told by doctor, and pediatrician was also there, but she didn't inform us. In 2nd month, when I reached out to another pediatrician, he told us to do a karyotyping, and then we came to know, okay, my baby has Down syndrome. So, and then I started reading a lot, and I reached out to a clinical geneticist. She suggested me to start with OT and physiotherapy as soon as possible. So I started with all. But my concern is his present weight is around 3 kg, not completely 3 kg, it's 2.85, 2.9. So my pediatrician is saying it is because you have started OT and PT, his weight is not gaining. So he included formula milk and Lactodex HCF along with breastfeed. But still his weight is not increasing. He's 3 months old, his weight is still 2.95 to 3 between, and his birth weight was 2.15 kg. So is this a worrying factor? I should, I'm a little confused what to do, whether I should.
The baby is now 3 months?
3 months.
At 3 months, you started the therapy?
I have started into 2 months, some days. As soon as
Okay,
I got to know, I started.
Medical issues?
Because on the suggestion of clinical geneticist, she said.
No. Are there any medical issues? How's the heart condition?
Heart heart condition is fine. When the echo was done, doctor said the hole is little big, but no surgery is required. It's just after 8 months you need to repeat it.
Right, but then when you have a hole in the heart, 1 minute, Smriti, I'm just asking you another very important question. Have you done the thyroid levels?
Yes, that is completely normal.
Right. Now, do me a favor. Are you doing passive or active exercises?
Active exercises.
No, passive. Passive means just, playing around with the baby, making them listen to sounds, or are you actually creating a lot of movement in the baby?
Yes, active exercise, because OT has started with, the exercising on balls and then on bolster and then on
at 2 months?
balls.
At 2 months?
Yes.
Okay, Smriti, where are you from?
Mumbai.
Okay, go slow. Go slow.
Okay. Exactly the same my pediatrician has said.
I don't know about your pediatrician, but as a mother, I would like you to not push a point. This is a baby. First of all, the baby has to get a bearing. Up to 6 months, they don't see light.
Okay.
They're only seeing black and white.
Yes.
And
But
this is our finding.
I thought it's up to 4 months. So
no, up to 6 months. The
started
clarity of, Now, more importantly, the body has to, see, I came out from a small area like that. Give me time and space to at least discover myself. So if I am going to be touched by a stranger, it is the worst thing. I start withdrawing because the stranger is making me do things which my mama is not making me do. You can fondle the baby, you can touch the baby, you can do yoga with the baby by just rocking the baby. 2 months baby. We don't touch the babies till about 3 to 4 months if there is any other issue. And don't forget, you have got a heart issue. Please be careful. Just for 3-4 months or 5 months, let the baby relax and you do it.
Yes, ma'am. So I have stopped OT sessions and I am starting at so I am doing with my baby. So whatever I have learned there, I am doing it with my baby.
Yeah, but don't become aggressive. Don't become like, oh my God, I'm wasting my time. No, I know what your parents are going through. You feel that you have to pump the baby with all of that and, then it'll be, no, the baby is taking its own time. That's a baby. Oh my God, I'm first trying to discover my mother and father. Forget about everybody else in the world. Do you know what that child is thinking in its mind? I wish my mother had not read OT in her life. Talk to the babies. You can get your signs from your little babies. Oh my God, look at these babies. Oh my God, they're all wanting to make you disappear. Yeah, why don't you change my mother is what one little baby told me. Because they don't want the mothers to be saying, do this, go on this, do the exercise time, this time, that time, that. Give me time. Let me discover myself. So relax, Smriti. We have so much time in the world. At least for 4-5 months, to chhod do yaar, aaram se. Okay, I love you very much. But if you were my mother, you just cuddle me and teach me everything. I don't want anybody else. I don't like that the OT's hands.
And physiotherapy also. He just taught me to bind him in a crepe bandage. Just that's it. How to hold the baby. So in 2 sessions, I have learned that. And I'm doing that.
Continue to roll the baby and keep it very locked in, okay? It is so like going back into the fetus.
Hypotonia, that's what he told me. So I'm doing that. But what you suggest? This is really hindering and gaining his weight. I mean, OT session and PT session. So I have stopped it.
No, it's not because of that. They take a little longer to put on because don't forget that the adaptation of the heart also is taking its own time. Okay. So the baby takes a little longer to digest all of it, for it to enter its main body. Don't worry. Once they put on weight, you will come back to me and say, how do I make them lose weight now? So aram se. And look at your own body, yaar. First of all, look at yourselves before you look at your babies. Itne se hai tum log. To bachcha itna bada nahi hoga na.
Right.
very, very, very calmly think about things that you're thinking. You're reading so much. First, stop reading.
Ma'am, I've stopped reading. My mother-in-law is a gynecologist, so and I'm a clinical dietitian. So we talk a lot, and yes, I study a lot. I read a lot every time in night, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I read out what to do.
This is the problem with all of you. Stop reading.
Yes,
Just look
yes.
at your baby and sing some nice
Mother
songs
said
to the baby.
Yes, okay, ma'am.
Just sing loudly, okay? The baby loves your voice. It only heard your voice for 9 months, yaar. It is your heartbeat. Okay?
Right.
So just remain calm and smile all the time. I don't see smiley faces, yeah. Huh? All stressed out, all wondering what will happen. It will happen. At 41, I am enjoying my time with my daughter. I am 70. I don't think of a day when I am going to be stressed out. It is not necessary. And if you have any reason to be stressed out, please call us. That's why we are here. Anytime, middle of the night, phone karo. We are always ready to receive your calls. Okay? If you feel something is irritating or niggling or I can't handle it, call. Call. We'll make you calmer. Okay? Love you, sweetheart. Stop it.
One last thing.
Yeah. You can keep asking.
There are a lot of tongue protrusion. I mean, I remember Ms. Priyanka had asked the same thing. There are lots of tongue protrusion. So one of my friends suggested, why can't you go to a speech therapist? See, so I said, I'm already going to OT and PT, now speech therapist. I think I should give 2 to 3 months more time. And then
I just not told you one thing, sing to the baby. Now, you will not believe it. Bubbly was in coma at 20 months. Okay, she had pneumonia, 3 bouts of pneumonia. Doctor said, take her home, let her die. Now, I spoke to her then. Smriti, I am telling you, listen to me carefully. This is not, you'll never get it in a book. For 6 weeks, I kept my child on my lap. I could not feed her because she was choking to death. With the, you know, those ink fillers you get that time, and there was something called arrowroot. I would take a drop of it and put it into her mouth. But I told her the Bhagavad Gita, I sang to her from the Vishnu Sahasranamam, the Aditya Hridayam and Hanuman Chalisa. Today, Bubbly can say all of it without batting an eyelid. So the brain is a very, very sharp brain, but it wants the mother. And the only voice a little baby can respond to is the mother's. So I kept telling Bubbly when she was dying at that time, Bubbly, get up. Let us prove to the world that we are not giving up. You and I will fight the world. And honestly, after 6 weeks, she just smiled at me. So it has got to do with a mother's strength. If you are a powerful mother, and stop reading somebody else's thing, understand that you and I have got the capacity, the power to make the dead alive. But if you do not want to believe in it, and if you think your voice is not strong, I used to get so tired, you know, Smriti, raat ko wo record karke, I leave it next to her. So she heard my voice continuously, Bubbly, get up, let's go, Bubbly, let's do it, Bubbly, let's get up. And honestly, she did. And she remembers every story I told her. She has acted out the roles on stage as Cinderella, Snow White. There's nothing she didn't know. But if you feel your child is not, responding, it is because we are giving up. They like a positive voice which says, come on, let's do it. Come on, let's go. And call your baby by the name. Address the baby and say, you will do it. You can do it. And I'm honestly telling you, like I'm telling you, Venkat's son, you have a son, no, Venkat?
Yes, madam. Yeah,
make him a football player, man. I'm telling you today, he will be a champion. Honestly, you got to believe in it. My daughter, I did not know that she could dance. She danced on stage for 3.5 hours, did her Arangetram and got Raja Radha Reddy, Chitra Vishweshwaran, all the leading dancers to come and applaud Vaijayanti Mala Bali. The thing is in believing. And I could not understand that she could hear that music, transfer it, emote, and I'll put it up on thing. You can see it anywhere. Bubbly has danced in Singapore, Malaysia, in Boston for the MIT students. She has raised funds for the Malaysian Down Syndrome Association. She is absolutely a wizard. She's danced in every temple whether it is in Madurai Meenakshi temple, whether it is in Chettinad temples, all amongst the 1,000 pillars. She was called. Now she is tired. At 41, she's going through menopause, and she feels that her body goes through the flushes like any of us. So she tells me, Mama, I need a little rest. But remember one thing, her coming out of depression, which is a story by itself, which I will take when we talk about mental illnesses. It is like a miraculous thing that I got the capacity to study, and I was able to teach and make the doctors learn. Because my book tells you very clearly how you have to measure and train a child who's going through mental illness. And you will understand all of this. But just now, don't stress your 2-month baby here. But still coming to daylight and looking at such sharp lights in my face. And andar to it was so dark. And the whole world suddenly seems like out of place. That's why we swaddle them. It's called the Japanese swaddle because they like to be like this. See, if you look at my villages, we will always put the child into a tuli, what we call the tuli. It's like an old sari of the mothers, and we tie them up in that and hang them from the tree. So they still feel they're inside the mother's womb. So until 6 months, they don't want to fly anything. Look at the birds. They have to be taught. Do the birds get a therapist? Please. So they are taught by the mother. She feeds them till she says, now it's ready for you to fly. So you got to understand that you are the feeding, not just the milk. Stop getting these OTPTs and speech therapists, please. Yeah, the bachcha is listening to your voice. If she responds and smiles, I'm the happiest person. Okay? Anytime you can call me Smriti. Okay?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Anybody else? Somebody, many hands up here. Or have they been up and down? No?
Ma'am,
Continue. Yeah.
ma'am, can I ask you something?
Yeah, of course you can.
Yeah, my girl Srinita, whenever she finishes her classes, she comes home, puts loud music and dances. She can dance for 2 to 3 hours non-stop. So,
see, I'll tell you something, Rima. The problem
right.
is that we have thought that they cannot.
Right.
So none of us have given them that opportunity to get into something which is a structure.
Right.
See, first of all parents have to realize that you do not inhibit your children or draw the line. You cannot do more than this. My daughter used to say, why are you not challenging me? I will go into swimming because my brother is swimming. She got the gold medalist. She became a gold medalist. She traveled all over the world swimming without being able to see. My point is, don't limit them. The minute your expectations, and my daughter might not be able to do this, they will never do it. Because you've already said you're not capable. See, remember one thing, even if your parents keep saying, you're not going to do this, you're not going to do this, you're frightened of doing it.
Right, right.
Because you will disappoint. But if a person is a structure and dance Rima, if it is a structure, a cultural dance as an older person, we feel good about it. But if it is something like the masala music, I am against it. Because a girl who is dancing like that on stage can be misconstrued. So we have to, you were actually trying to protect our girls because we come from that background. We are not the West where we can say, okay, go out and spend a night out with the boy. We are not going to do that.
Right.
And yes, we are encouraging friendship between boys and girls, but I am scared about allowing them to have, my daughter fell in love. She wanted to be married. She asked the same questions that any other girl will ask, because I always told her the world is open to you. But when it comes to this, my family said, no, she can't have a boyfriend. So I'm talking about 20 years ago. That's why I created Humsafar. So within the Humsafar family, they are meeting each other. They are going out with their friends. They're having a party. They're going to work. So we have changed the concept completely in 20 years. So I want you to understand that things are brighter for you, much more different. The doctors, if you come, please, all of you should come to Raipur. However difficult it is, pick up your baby, and that is the atmosphere you have to be in, because we will have something like about 150 parents with their families having a blast of a time, and each person as a self-advocate showcasing his talent. You learn much more in groups. By sitting by myself, how much can I learn, you tell me?
Right,
so you have to give yourself that advantage. And if you are having issues with booking yourself into the conference of not being able to afford the rooms, please let us know. We will give you free rooms. I promise you, we will give you a holiday that you will enjoy with your whole family. You will go back feeling fresh. You want to work, you will know where to work, on what I have to missed. Where can I? Just buy your tickets, land up and say, Rekha, we are coming. That's all. I will look after you and I will give you a good holiday. We have another 20 rooms going, book fast. Okay. Please do come when your babies are small because it's very important. Yes, Magiran. Your name Magiran or the boy's name Magiran?
Yeah, my boy's name is Magiran.
I thought as much. Your name could not be Magiran.
Okay. He's 4 years old, ma'am.
Which place are you? Coimbatore?
Erode, Coimbatore.
Erode. Okay.
Yes,
my favorite place.
Okay.
Tell me. Oh, he looks amazing. Have I seen you before?
No, ma'am.
You met Dr. Pradeep?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, tell me. It's a small world we live in, where we have genetic counselors, doctors, all very small world. Yeah, tell me.
Okay. Yeah, okay. He's 4 years old, ma'am. He's actually a little bit delay in speech only, I feel. Otherwise, he can.
No. That's because you're talking all the time. Stop. And don't say that in front of him. If anybody says anything in front of my children, I am the first person to tell the parent to leave. He understands every word you're saying.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. He would understand everything.
So do not say one negative word in front of him. Like things like he cannot speak. He doesn't like it. He will slap you now. I'm telling you.
Sure.
It's not right because anything that the child does or does not do, even a one-day baby, I tell my staff, take the baby out. Because if a mother is crying, the child can feel it. So when you're talking like this and saying he's not speaking, he is speaking. Even if he says yes or no like this, it is speech for me. And we will come to that when we talk about communication. Because it is not called speech, it's called communication. How I communicate is I know how to communicate with you. He can get anything done from you. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
You can understand everything he says. Call me later. What is your name, Yari? What is your name?
Yalini.
Yalini, change your name on that and don't. I'm from the beginning, I've been thinking, who's Magiran? Okay, all right.
Okay.
So get to me and I will tell you, I will give you a speech therapist who will train you and you can get onto the program, but do not say anything in front of him. That's another thing, my friends. Never talk in front of the person. How would you like it if your mother was sitting there and saying, she's such a badly behaved child. She doesn't behave properly. It insults in front of other people. Even if I'm a 2-year-old, I don't like it. I walk away from there because I can't shout at my mother, but it is very upsetting for the child. Whatever you have to tell the doctors, the counselors, your friends, whenever it's in front of the child, say, oh, she's so beautiful. She does everything so well. And they love it. They love it. They like a feedback which says, my mama is happy about me. Not my mama is disappointed with me. Nobody wants that, no? If you just imagine, it's so upsetting if my mother goes around telling everybody I have not spoken. I'm trying. It's not coming. Because it is that whenever I try to say something, my mother says something else. I tell you, I'm talking to this lady. She's saying, हमने तो choice दिया है. You want poha or idli? And वो बोलता ही नहीं है तो मैंने पोहा ही बना दिया. But you did not wait. So waiting is a game.
Okay,
so
ma'am. Actually, nowadays he started to talk with him, like to mirror. He's seeing mirror and talk by himself.
He's not talking by himself. He's talking to a person that he wants to relate with because we are not giving him a chance. See, the problem with most of our parents is that we ask a question and you want juice and you give it. Wait. Like I keep on saying everything because it takes longer for them to process. We'll come to that because the brain is processing. It's not easy. You are saying something, it has to go into my ear. My ear has to send the message up here and it's slow. It's very slow. So the process has to happen. So give them time to digest and then see the response. So don't be in a hurry, children. All of you are always in a hurry. You are always walking out of the house. Oh, you want this. Wait. Patience. Okay. Hey, I like this message that somebody sent me. You look very young. Thank you already. Anything else? What? Nobody has any questions? You guys are too much.
Yes, ma'am. Hi, this is Kavya from Bangalore.
Yeah.
May I know what is the right age to start these therapies, ma'am? Like OT, physiotherapy, or any of the speech therapy?
First, let's see the baby.
He's 1.10 years now.
1.10 months.
Yes.
Okay. So yes, it's time, but depending on all my other parameters. I need to see the health status, what is the heart status, what is all the other statuses we see, and then we start the developmental program. Don't worry about it. Have you started the therapies?
I have started, but not on regular basis, ma'am. Like I go to physiotherapist and based on the exercises we practice at home.
Okay, very good. But are you seeing progress?
He doesn't stand on his own yet.
No, that's asking for too much. I do not want to assess the baby without looking at the baby, but I am not saying he should stand, not stand. I need to see the entire body structure and how much hypertonia and whether there's laxity in the legs. So all this is being done by the therapist. You will now get an idea when you meet up with a therapist. Do you have a therapist?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the therapist is from your place. Where are you? Bangalore?
Bangalore, yes.
Okay, so you have excellent therapists there. Yeah, you have the best therapist, speech therapy. Every therapy is there on the line. So if your therapist says you are on the right road to recovery, leave it.
Okay.
Okay. If you want a second feedback, please call me. My physiotherapists are always available. You can get a second opinion from my therapist. Okay.
Okay, sure.
I'll send you all the numbers on the group. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Anyone else? What's the time now?
Ma'am, I have one question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ma'am, my daughter, she has this nodding of the head. I don't know the reason for it. Does that go away with time? Like she
nodding of the head, as Nandini, I want to know what you mean by nodding like this. Constant nodding?
Yeah, she does this.
Okay. Did you have it checked?
Yes, I got it checked by neurologist. He said there's no problem. It's just a self-induced behavior and it will go away by itself.
No. I don't agree with such things. I need to know whether you have even had the X-ray taken for the neck. That is the atlantoaxial instability, the first and second vertebra.
No, I've not done that.
Yeah, so also, I would like to see the baby sometime. You said Bangalore, right?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. So please have it evaluated and we will give you the number of Dr. Prakash, who is a leading in our team of pediatricians. Just take an opinion because sometimes, we can't write off something like that. Okay. Because I don't want it to get exaggerated and then we have ignored it.
Okay. It has come down from earlier. She used to move it more and the frequency has come down of the head nodding, but it's there most of the time. So
this is another thing that we would like you to just have as opinion because there are leading people who have studied the subject. You can ask Tejal for Dr. Prakash's number, and he's a pediatrician who's working very closely with our team. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Don't worry.
Yeah. Thank you.
Kavya, your hand is raised. Okay. I don't think she's raised. Bhuneshwari. Yes.
Hi, ma'am. I'm a mother of two. My elder one is going school. He's in 3rd standard. I'm here attending this session for my little one.
Which place are you, Bhuneshwari?
I'm attending from Bangalore, ma'am. Basically, I'm from Tamil Nadu.
Done.
My daughter is 4.5 years old, ma'am. We are looking for a school. Can we put her in a Montessori nearby? Is that recommended?
Can you mute? Yeah, tell me what do you want to put her in?
Montessori, nearby Montessori school.
Very good idea. Very good idea. Try with the Montessori teaching, because I find it a very good structure because they give independence to the child. So only thing that you have to look at, Bhuneshwari, is the strength of the classroom. Okay. Just make sure that you don't have more than 10. Maximum 12 or 14, because if it becomes 20, 25, the teacher herself is struggling to deal with it. Of course, in Montessori, you always have a teacher and an associate teacher, right? So you also have a helper in the classroom. So try and see whether you can make that comfortable for the child. Because at 4, you need to put them in school. They need a structure, and they need to understand that there is a certain amount of discipline in a school, like on time, getting up in time, dressing up, taking your food. All of that is a structure. So please try to do that. And also Montessori gives me the independence, but the strength of the classroom is the most important.
Okay, ma'am. We approached one school here. She is a bit new, and she's an amazing person, but she's thinking whether to take this kid because she's telling, I'm a normal Montessori teacher. I don't have the qualification to teach her. That is the reason she's telling.
No, Bhuneshwari, just tell her, I don't want any specialization. I don't want them to be qualified. I just want a teacher. I just want a teacher who will play with my child. The problem is they all want qualifications. So they should join our program actually. But my point is that there's no such qualification. Don't worry about it. Do not mention anything. Just say, I just want a good person to look after my child.
Okay.
And keep praising the teacher also.
Oh, no, ma'am. She is ready to accept. Otherwise, we said only we need an environment like this. Otherwise, academics and all later that we convey to her. She's also checking from her end. But I have a very good opportunity today to confirm this.
Please confirm it quickly.
Yes,
on my name, you confirm it. God bless you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Very well. Don't worry. Love you.
You're so energetic, ma'am. Thank you.
No, really. My energy is slowly going down. I have another session. Okay?
No. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. With all your
I'll
blessings,
happily sleep today, ma'am. I will very much.
With lovely mothers like you and lovely people like you, I think all you need is to rest. Okay, see a nice movie, relax. Saturday evening, man. Enjoy your husband's company. Thank God my husband is not here. He's gone away. But I enjoy my own company. I love it. So when you're married for 50 years, you also want your own space. Okay, so enjoy your lives and relax. God has been good to you guys.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, I have one question, please.
Oh, hi. Oh, beauty queen. I love you. Hi, Vidya. Yeah.
Me too. I think all of them must be having the same question. How are you so gorgeous? What is the secret?
Vidya,
mind, body, soul.
Okay. I want to see Vidya. I will stay alive till you're 70, and I want to see you. You'll be as gorgeous. Don't worry.
Of course you will. You aren't done by quarter yet. Okay. So
I'm not going for a long time. Oh, by the way, I have a target of 102. Okay, I've given that as a right.
I feel that's also less, but we'll start with that.
102. By the time all their children would have grown up, and I would have enjoyed watching them growing up.
Rekhama, thank you so much. Your energy is like amazing for everybody, and that's what keeps us going. We need your, time to time, we need you to come and infuse this positivity in us.
I love enthusing. And Vidya, I want you to put up my phone number, please. I don't know how to do all that.
I will.
I tried everything, it didn't happen. Okay.
I will put it up on the chat or on the group you want it.
On the group, and tell them all to contact me anytime, any part of the day. Do not worry about disturbing me. Just say, I want to talk. That's all.
Ma'am, you pay us a visit in Udupi, please.
Yes, I am coming to Udupi. We will go to Udupi. We need to go because I think
we come to Bangalore and then we'll all go to Udupi.
Lovely. Okay. We have a good time.
Yes.
Rima, we will come there and have darshan of the God, your center, and all those beautiful people with you.
Please, ma'am, it will be our pleasure, please.
Thank you, Rima. Thank you so much. And are we all done, or anybody wants any more questions? Hi, Pooja. Hi.
Hello.
How are you? I was watching you silently sitting on the sidelines.
Well, it's been a most informative session. Thank you so much.
Well, as we progress, it gets more and more and more. And with me butting in and telling the doctors, no, you haven't touched on this subject. And they will say, oh my God, this woman's sitting there all the time like a hawk. So this one particular program that we have been conducting has proved to be absolutely the best. Because by the end of it, you know so much about your own child. And about yourself. First, I think you've got to analyze yourselves. You know, as parents, we seem to forget ourselves. And we don't think that it's important to understand yourselves. You get up in the morning, you look in the mirror and you want to look beautiful. Get up, wash your hair, think of yourselves first, say a quiet prayer, meditate, but spend time for yourselves. The child will grow anyhow. Today, I am telling you that yes, my times were tough, really tough, because the doctors had to be actually empowered. They themselves are losing a battle. But I really feel that after all that, and after slapping a couple of doctors, yes, a neurologist who I took my slipper and hit him, I really had to do it because these guys were not trying to treat my child as a child. They were thinking of it like you can do away with it. And that's what they kept telling people. You can do away with it. How can you do away with your child? My husband left me because of that. He didn't come back for 12 years. He said, no, I can't handle it. She's got vision issues. She's got, multiple issues. And the word they used, mentally retarded, mentally handicapped. She will be, she'll be a waste. Put her away. Where do you put away your child? Why would you put away a child? And that's when he came back. I must tell you this. He came back when my daughter was about 17. And she was absolutely, very vocal. And I couldn't forgive him. And she turned around and told me, Ma, forgive him. He didn't know what he was doing. You have to understand that your children are always with you, always looking after us. I am doing this entire study on a soul connection with the Netherlands, where I have found a totally different picture for persons with Down syndrome. And I'm releasing it during the Raipur conference, because people are thinking that this is a trying period. It's difficult. It's this. It's actually raising a child with Down syndrome is the most beautiful, beautiful part of your lives. When I always think about and ask God how he created these people, and I'm doing that study, I found out that he said, for everybody else, it's the same mold. There's one typical mold for all of you. You all have 46 chromosomes. It's very easy for me to make that. But when it comes to the person with Down syndrome, I have to sit down meticulously and attach that extra chromosome. You know how much work I have? He answered my questions. I used to question him every day. And he said that. And he also said, after I created the mold, I have to sit down and plan which parent is the right parent. So is this parent going to buckle down? Is she going to cry right through? Or is she going to be bold enough to handle the situation? So actually, he answered all my questions because I knew then that he had chosen me. And I was so proud that he was looking directly into my head. So honestly, look at it as a beautiful mission that you've been, actually, it's been chalked for you because only you can handle it. I know it does make you feel pain. Why me? Every parent who walks into my center, why me? Why not my sister-in-law? Why not everybody else is so happy, so relaxed? The child is doing this, the child is doing that. My child is also doing it, but at her own pace. And I'm very proud of her pace, which is like today when I say, all your children must do the cross crawl. Nandini, come back. Don't cry privately. This is exactly what I don't want. You bring out the tears, you bring out every emotion is what we want. Because when I did not cry, it didn't hurt me because it made me stronger every day. But honestly, I'm telling you, Nandini, you'll wonder much later in your life, why did I cry? Was it a crying moment or was it a happier moment? Because my child is looking at me and saying, Mom, only you can do it. Only you can do it. No one else can do it. So, and I don't want these therapists standing there and looking at me, Mom. Luckily, I didn't have therapists. And today, when I went all over the world to find out what was the best crawl. Then they told me it's the Soldier's March, which is the cross crawl. So when I come to this, not many people have done this research, but I have, which means that we are wiring the brain. Because when Bubbly was born, they said only one side of her brain will function, which is what is called the artistic brain. But today, we are having our children in the centers and they're doing well, they're studying, they're doing everything else that you want them to do. Why? Because of the cross crawl. We'll come to it when you come to the physiotherapy. Make sure every child cross crawls, because that cross crawl is wiring your brain. So both the right and the left sides of your hemisphere get wired. So the child becomes absolutely brilliant. Are you brilliant, people? I never doubted my daughter because I knew I was a brilliant human being. So she has my genes. If I'm a fighter, she's a fighter. If I sit down in a corner and say, I'm not going to be able to do this, she'll turn around and say, Mom, you gave up. So unless you are ready for the situation of any kind, like I went through 2 years of real hell with doctors, fighting them, telling them, give me medicines. They said, no, we don't have the antibiotics. So my point is, from there, we have come so far, where for everything we have a solution. You tell us what is irritating or niggling in your brain, and we will remove the niggle. That's all you have to do. Talk it out. The problem is that we are thinking that I'm the only person who's suffering. No, children. And that's what the paper also says. The child is suffering from Down syndrome, which I told them I'll sue them. Have they ever asked anybody if they're suffering? I think the other people, in fact, I had more problems with my son than I ever had with my daughter. My son is 45 and he says, I'm an emotional, he has a lot of words, this jargon this adult population has, which says that, Mom, you're always emotionally disturbed, this, that, and all. I mean, I am what I am. I accept you as my son. Why can't you accept me as my mother? My daughter has never questioned me. Never. Try to understand who is the better of the two little children. Because if you think this child is weak, ultimately this child is the stronger of the two. Today, I can give it to you in writing, that this child will keep you stimulated, on top of the world. Today, if I'm sitting here happy and all, Bubbly charted my life for me. So, give them all the credit that they deserve. And yes, you are a bunch of amazing students. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud. By the end of these 6 months, I want to see you all say, Rekha, we are ready to take on the world. Shall we say that now? That 6 months we are going to go. We're going to be so strong that we don't need anyone to tell us anything. If you unmute and say yes, we can all do that.
Yes.
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 Definitely.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
You just have to call me and we will spend the whole night talking. I talk to my parents the whole night. People think I'm talking to my boyfriend, which is very good for me. But I honestly feel it's amazing how much you can empower each other. And I would love it if you call.
Ma'am, this is Hema. I have one request. In due course, right, just I wanted to find ways how to identify the potential from our children. What we are good at, those
How old
ways
is the
to find
child?
out.
Hema,
Now
how
he's
old
8
is
years. 8 years.
At 8 years, did your parents find out your potential?
No.
Why is it different when it comes to a child who is dealing with their own lives and trying to prove a point? Why do you want the potential now? We will point out the potential when the right time comes. Okay? Don't worry.
Okay.
That's what I'm sitting here for. Because the parents are the last people. They'll only say, I want my son to go to engineering. He has to be a doctor. What did they tell us when we were growing up? I get into the IT world. Only get into the technology. Get into IT world. This, that, not. My point is, don't confuse your brain now, child. Okay? Yeah, Venkat, what a handsome little boy you have there. Wow.
Hi, Dakshi. Hi.
Hi. Amazing.
Gives like it. Gives like it. Gives like it.
He's giving you a kiss, Venkat. He doesn't think I deserve that. Like,
Yeah.
you're a good father, Venkat. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take your son out and make him into a sportsman. I tell you, when I come to actual activities, the world is full of activities. The studies only form a small part of our children, but the other areas, you put drama, theater, music, art, I cannot believe what it opens up for the child. In every group, put them in your society. Make them take the lead roles. My daughter fought to be the lead character in every drama that she went. And she was actually so beautifully, she would express herself. So don't write it off. So try everything. Like you asked me the question, potential, try everything. Why is it that you have 13 subjects when you are little, and then you bring it down to 5 by the time you come to the 10th standard? So wait, see, watch, learn. Okay?
Yeah.
But if you are all interested, join the next program, which is again a part of our program. I will send you the link. Watch it, because you will learn about people who are working so hard on the other side of the spectrum, which is art. Okay? So Sia Mirchandani has opened a center and she's doing amazing work in Mumbai. So we have brought her online, and every Saturday we have a session. After our session, we have another session where it is informative, it's medical. So you can join both sessions. Okay? And that's absolutely open. The more you hear, the more you learn. And yes, you can just put it on, don't have to show your faces, put it on mute and listen. Okay? If you're doing your housework, you're doing this, don't say that because I am occupied all the time. Make yourself free on Saturday afternoons. And yes, somebody called me and said, Rekha, 2 years we have not had enough of an economic support. I have to go back to work, and Saturday afternoons is the only time I get to spend time with my children. I said, I understand. So if we can, we will help every parent. Let's reach out to every parent who has a difficulty. God bless you all, and see you next Saturday. Are we done?
Yeah.
I don't know who is there from IRC to close the show, because I'm not running this show. I don't think I'm running it. Nobody, everybody's left me high and dry and gone away. Okay, are we done? Are you all okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Unmute and say bye-bye. I love to see you again next Saturday.
Bye.
God bless you guys.
On the next Saturday.
Next Saturday is when we give you all the information on genetics. Next Saturday is genetics and psychotherapy. So you will be dealing with emotional support. Fantastic program. The leaders in the world. Thank you all very much. God bless you. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Thank you so much.
You too. Bye-bye.
Have a good weekend.